Why are we here? It's because we are
preparing outstanding warriors with wisdom to overcome and win.
Hi, I'm Bill,
And I'm Michael.
and we're here with your student birthdays. We have Kaden Martin and Madison Seals,
Alexis Gonzalez, Sarah McDonald,
Devin Douglas and Aaron Umanozer,
Abisola Adeomola, and Brooke Ivan,
Sydney Faltfasana and Trenty Harris.
Jalen Hudson, and Urena Naichu.
And now here is Emma with the Student Athlete of the Week.
Hi, I'm Emma, and I'm here with the Student Athletes of the Week. First up, we have Ashley Sminoza winning 6th place out of 40 girls at the varsity cross country meet. So Ashley, how long was the race?
It was a 2-mile.
And what challenges did you face?
There was parts where it was muddy and you just had to think about if you're gonna curve it or go through it. But also there was hills and it was rocky, and so your legs are kind of tired at the point, but you just gotta push through.
Oh, nice.
And now we have Josh Olavoide scoring a soccer goal at the soccer.
Well, hello Newman Warriors, it's Mr. D here, and I'm excited because I have the privilege to do you guys powwow. And so I'm going to talk to you guys about probably one of the most important things that you will ever hear, and that is on identity. And so when you hear the word identity, what do you think of? And hopefully you have a notepad and a pen and you're taking notes. And so if you're taking notes, I believe, which is very important because it means that you care about yourself, you care about your life, and you care about your future, that anytime somebody is speaking to you guys on an important subject, you know that it's going to help you. So if you're taking notes, write down what you think identity means to you. And so let me give you a definition of identity. Identity, the definition that I found was, it's the fact of being who or what a person or thing is. Basically, it's who you are being, who you are being, who you are becoming, okay? So as we're talking about identity, I think it's very, very important that we are careful with what we allow to form our identity. And why do I say that? Because whatever identity that you take on, however you are carrying yourself, you're going to attract certain things. You're going to attract good things or bad things based off how you're carrying yourself. What do I mean by that? If you carry yourself where you're always rude, you're always angry, you're disrespectful, you're just not nice, you don't show up on time to things, you don't keep your word. So what do you think you're going to attract? Whether you're in a relationship, whether you're on a team, a sports team, inside the classroom, what do you think you're going to attract? Do you think you're going to attract good things? You think you're going to attract good grades? You think you're going to attract accolades? You think you're going to attract a position on that team? You think you're going to attract a promotion on your job when you carry yourself in that way, when that is your identity, those things that I just explained to you? No, you're not. You're probably going to attract detentions. You're probably not going to make the basketball team or the football team or the soccer team because you're not showing up to the practice on time. You're probably not going to get that job, but you're definitely not going to get the promotion. You probably end up getting, some bad consequences in the class, not making good grades because you're carrying yourself in a negative manner. That's who you have become. Or let's say that you're showing up on time, you're kind to other people, you're respectful to those who are in authority over you, you're showing up on time, you're forgiving other people. What do you think you're going to attract now? You're sitting in class and you're listening, yes sir, no ma'am, you're taking good notes. What are you going to attract when you carry yourself in that manner? Yes, you're going to get good grades. You're going to get accolades. That coach is probably going to put you on that team. He shows up on time. He's a hard worker. I'm giving him playtime. You're going to get promoted on that job. It's because of the way that you're carrying yourself, how you are being. Okay, remember that definition is how you are being. And so with identity comes the law of attraction. You're going to attract what you are. And so that's very important to understand. So the next thing I would say is you need to be careful with what you allow to define your identity, what you allow to form your identity. What are some things that form our identity? I hope you guys are taking notes. So write down things that are forming our identity. So number one, the environment that you grew up in. Okay, so if you grew up in in a neighborhood that might have been bad or a neighborhood that was good. You grew up in a home environment where, everybody loved each other. If you grew up in a home environment where there was always fighting, there's always strife, that is what's forming your identity. The music that you listen to, the TV shows, Netflix, the movies you watch, the books that you read, that forms your identity, okay? Your family, your culture, religion, all of these things form your identity. They all form your identity. How do they form your identity? Because you are receiving ideas, ways of thinking, your paradigm, all of those things. The ways of thinking come from music. It comes from the TV, the books that you read, from how you saw your mom treat your dad or your dad treat your mom. You're picking up those ideas, those ways of thinking, those thought patterns, and those thought patterns become who you are, right? Those thought patterns become who you are. You've heard it before. However you think is going to become, it's going to become your actions. And so all of these things, your environment, the music, TV, family, culture, religion, all those things form your identity. So what does that tell us? That means that if those things are forming my identity, and if my identity attracts certain things, good things or bad things, then I need to go back to these sources. I need to make sure for me that the music that I'm listening to is wholesome and is healthy. I need to make sure that the TV shows that I'm watching is wholesome and healthy. The books that I'm reading is going to help me to better myself. That the culture that I'm in, that the environment that I'm growing up in is healthy. Because if it's not, that's toxic for me. It's toxic for my identity. And if I allow those toxic things to form my identity, then I'm setting my future up for failure. And so, guys, the choice is up to you. I can't tell you what music to listen to, what TV shows to watch, what books to read, who to hang out with. That is completely up to you. But if I were you, I would consider your future as you are picking up your friends, as you're picking up certain books, TV shows, movies that you're watching, music that you're listening to. Consider your future. Consider your marriage. Okay? When you guys grow up, you're going to get married one day. Consider the job that you're going to pick up. Those are things that are very important. And you don't want a bad marriage. You don't want a bad job. And so what's going to determine it is the way you carry yourself. And what's going to determine the way you carry yourself is what you're looking at, what you're listening to, who you're hanging out with, all of that stuff. So point number four, don't allow your past, don't allow, maybe the bad grades that you may have made, don't allow verbal abuse that you might have experienced, or even, mental abuse, physical abuse. Don't allow the mistakes that you have made to determine your identity. So many times people, when they make bad grades, they determine their identity. They say, man, I'm just dumb. I'm just stupid. And you're basing that off of the grades that you made. But that's kind of unfair. Because perhaps maybe you just haven't learned how to study correctly. Or perhaps you just need someone to show you how to study. Maybe you need a tutor, and once you get that, now your grades start to change. So you can't really base who you are based off the grades that you're making, right? Or maybe some of you guys grew up in a home where, maybe somebody was calling you stupid, and somebody was calling you dumb, and you're a waste of time, and I can't stand you, and you're an accident. And now you have let that determine who you have become. You're saying, well, I guess I am dumb. I guess I am stupid, right? Don't let that determine who you are. Don't let what somebody has said that was negative determine who you are. Don't let your mistakes, some of y'all have probably made mistakes in your past. I know I have. I've made a ton of mistakes, but I'm not letting that determine who I'm going to be. That's not going to be my identity, because once again, if you allow that to determine who you are, then you're going to attract negative things. It's just a vicious cycle that you don't want in your life. So don't allow those things to determine who you are. Another important thing to remember is that what you do is not who you are. I know that sounds strange. Let me say that again. What you do is not who you are. For example, there was a football player. He played college football. He was amazing at it, getting ready to go in the NFL, and he injured himself. And then he went to the doctor, and the doctor diagnosed him, and they said, man, you'll never be able to play sports again in your life. And so when he heard that news, he then went and wrote a letter and said, since football is who I am, then there is no point in me living. And he kills himself. Why did he kill himself? Because he found his identity in football. And a football player is not who he is, it's what he did. So do not find your identity in what you do. Whether you're going to be a mayor one day, a governor, a president, a teacher, a preacher, a missionary, a veterinarian, a pediatrician, a doctor, a senator. That's not who you are. It's what you do. Okay? It is what you do. But you need to understand that all those things that you do will one day come to an end. So if you're basing what you do, if you're basing that of who you are, then when it comes to an end, then you're going to come to an end. You're not going to have any purpose. Let's just say you're a doctor for 13 years and then you retire. What's your purpose? You felt like your identity was you being a doctor, but now that's come to an end. And so you want to be careful with that. That's what you do. It is not who you are. There are other things that kind of define and inform our identity. And it is offense, bitterness, unforgiveness. That will change your identity, and it won't end up good at all for you. When I say offense and bitterness and unforgiveness, some of you guys have experienced some horrible things. Some of you all have been betrayed. Some of you have been abused. Some of you have been lied on, disrespected. Everybody's had bad things happen. And when that happens, you have an opportunity to hold on to offense. You just get offended about what that person did, and you hold on to that offense. And then that offense, if you don't let it go, it turns into bitterness, and then it turns into unforgiveness. And when you hold on to that, it literally begins to change who you are. And now your demeanor changes, the way you carry yourself. You're rude to people. You put up walls. You don't let anybody come into your life because you don't trust anybody. You're disrespectful. You keep to yourself. You have a hard time smiling. You have a hard time being kind. Why? It's because you've allowed that offense and that bitterness and unforgiveness to change who you are because of what a person did. Once again, I'm not excusing what that person did to you or whatever happened to you. I'm not justifying that, but you cannot allow that to determine how you're going to feel, right? So if I were you, I would encourage you to let go of that offense, let go of that bitterness, let go of that unforgiveness, because it's changing you, and it's changing you for the worse. I know many people who have they're ugly people. They're ugly and they treat people, they're just really, really unkind to people. They're very rude, they're very disrespectful. And then I found that it was linked to offense. It was linked to bitterness and unforgiveness that they were holding on to, and it changed who they were. And then and I've also seen on the other side that once they released that unforgiveness, that bitterness and offense, they literally turn and they change and they're transformed into a different person. And now they're the most loving people ever. They're the most kind people. They have peace. They're not confused anymore. They're not angry. They're not walking with fear. They're not holding on to any of that. They're a beautiful person. And that can be you today. Maybe you feel that way. Maybe you feel angry. Maybe you feel just stressed out and tired and confused. Perhaps it's because you're holding on to something, and maybe it's time for you to let that go so that you can experience holding on to that. You can experience that peace in your heart. You can experience where you can go to sleep without any fear, without feeling lonely or depressed or any of that stuff. Some people let situations determine who they are and how they're going to feel. You see, all the bad stuff that's going on in our nation. Well, that can change who you are. That can make you a fearful person. That can make you someone who's worried all the time and anxious and everything, but you cannot allow that to change who you are. So for me, this is for me. It doesn't have to be for you. You don't have to follow what I believe, but I'm a Christian. I'm a follower of Christ, and I believe I get my identity from God. It says that the Bible says that I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. I'm created in his image. I'm intelligent. I'm smart. I'm creative. I'm kind. That's who he says I am. Patient, loving, respectful. That's who he says I am. So that's who I'm going to be. And when I carry myself in that way, good things come to me. And I'm putting out good things towards other people because I'm carrying myself that way. I don't let anything else determine my identity except for what God says. And once again, that's for me. That's just what I believe. And for me, man, it's been amazing. I just have so much peace, happy, joyful. I'm energetic because I'm carrying myself. And the choice is up to you. You get to choose who you want to be and how you want to be. If you want to be depressed, if you want to be angry, if you want to be bitter at the world and bitter at everybody, that is totally up to you. You can do that. Or if you want to be happy, if you want to have joy, if you want to have strength, if you want to be energetic, that is up to you as well. You can choose it. So it's up to you. It's going to affect your future as well. So just remember that. So guys, I encourage you guys to take hold of everything that I have spoken to you today. What are you going to allow to define your identity? Okay, what are you going to allow to define your identity? I hope you picked something good. So guys, this was awesome. I appreciate you all hearing me out, and I will see you guys later. Have a good one.
Good morning, Warriors. This is Mr. Newton. I currently teach law and law enforcement here at Newman Academy on Gibbons campus, but I'm also the WIN Hours coordinator. Some of you may not know what the WIN Hours are. WIN is a program that Newman Academy has titled Workforce and Training at Newman. Each year, students are required to complete a total of 30 hours of volunteer and unpaid service time. This completion of this 30 hours is a requirement of graduation. The 30 hours breaks down to 20 hours are intern, which is hours that are done in some vocational field, and 10 hours that are volunteer, or hours that you're not paid for that you give to an organization. Please see me in room B105 for any questions or to obtain any forms to count your volunteer hours on.
I'm Jocelyn.
And I'm Newman.
And this is the Newman News. So we have senior night October 1st. At 6 p.m. we have 2 seniors, and the theme is black out, so wear a black shirt.
And don't forget, tomorrow, September 30th, is picture day. So for people who are going in person, your pictures are going to be taken from 9 to 12. And for online and senior photos, it's going to be from 1 to 4. Don't forget to wear a red or a blue shirt. And for seniors, after you take your ID photos in the blue or red shirt, then you're going to take your senior photos in the senior lunch area. And cap and gowns will be provided by the school, so you don't have to bring them.
Then there's map testing. 8th graders and freshmen have theirs Thursday, October 1st, and the 10th graders have theirs Friday, October 2nd.
Have fun with that. And next week, the week of the October 5th, we're going to have our quarter exams for the 9 weeks. And that's it.
So now it is time for our school song.